ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति पाठ टुगेदर। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो हरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मंत्र I'll chant, you repeat it. परीक्षलोकान् कर्मचितान् ब्राह्मणः निर्वेदमायान्नास्त्यकृतः कृतेन तद्विज्ञानार्थं स गुरुमेवाभिगच्छेत्। समित्पाणिः श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम्। So an examination of the nature of results of an action and the nature of one's search makes the person viveki. Nature of the results of an action for which I do lots of action, and the nature of basically one's search. Why am I searching? What am I searching? Makes person viveki. Actions give results of an action, and those are limited. What I am searching, the nature of search, what I am searching is something which is nityam, permanent. What they give is impermanent, anityam. And therefore, this is a discrimination between these two, nityam, anityam. Nitya, nitya vastu, viveka. Nitya, anitya. You distinguish the nature of search as well as the nature of your accomplishment, results of an action. So, and this viveka leads to basically a change in the sphere of search. Earlier we were searching nitya vastu here in karmaphala. No. You should search somewhere else. It will not be gained through karma. That's it. What I am really searching cannot be gained through karma. That's the thing. Karma can give lots of things, But karma cannot give me what I am really wanting in my life. That's it. That brings a dispassion towards results of an action. Could you follow? Yeah. So dispassion will be seen, it is not a discovery actually. Dispassion is not a will-based also. Dispassion is a natural outcome of your analysis of results of an action, nature of results of an action. So that is called, basically, that brings a healthy attitude for all the goals, which Shastra describes it as a artha, kama and dharma. Billions of goals are there. For a single person, millions of goals are there. But Shastra says only 4 goals are there. Yeah, and that too, not 4, really 1. That's how moksha is called parama purushartha. Yeah. So anyway, so this is, and the nature of one's search basically is revealed by one simple sentence here, nasti akritaha krutena. That's what we have to see. Kritam means what is done. Kru dhatu means to do, to make. Kritam means which is made, which is produced. Karma phala. Which comes into existence, which is brought into existence is called kritam. If you do karma, what comes into existence? Karma phala, result of an action. So even this is also karma phala. The table is a kritam. Table is kritam. Mobile is kritam. Everything is kritam, made, produced through actions. And that kritam is divided into 2. Sukritam. Sukritam means well done. And dushkritam, ill done. So that's how we say punyam is called sukritam. Papam is called dushkritam, ultimately. So anyway, it's also karma phala, right? Punyam and papam. So any karma phala which is brought into existence, it's the result of one's action, and that is how it is called kritam. Anyway, so desirable, this kritam is both desirable as well as undesirable. Here the other word is akritam. Nasti akritaha krutena. Akritaha means what? Kritam means which is produced, made, which is brought into existence. Akritam means what? Which is not brought into existence, means which is already there. Means akritaha is equal to nityaha, which is there. You cannot produce it, it is already there. You need not produce it because it is there. So akritaha, there is something which is nityam. And kritam means which is brought into existence, which is anityam in fact. Which is brought into existence means which was not there before. If it was not there before, well, it will not be there in future also. So kritam means anityam. Akritam means nityam. So that is what we have to understand. So nasti akrita krutena conveys a lots of things. So krutena means which is produced, which is made, which is made. So through karma. So kritam is also called karma. Because kritam is karma phala, but it is brought into existence by karma. So you can take even kritam means karma. Kritena is equal to karmana, by action. Akritaha, something which is eternal, nasti. So basically by actions, you cannot brought into existence which is eternal, is equal to moksha. Moksha is you cannot produce through karma. That's what it wants to convey. So entire karma kanda actually is analyzed here and presented as a anityam. Karma, karma phala. That's one part of the Veda. Veda should give you the knowledge. Vid dhatu, meaning of the vid dhatu means to know. Veda means a body of knowledge. In that, the first section of the Veda, which we call Karma Kanda, gives you knowledge. Knowledge of what? Means and ends. Karma as a means, rituals, and what it can give. That's called end. You do this karma, you get this. You do this particular karma, you will get a beautiful son. You do this karma, you get a beauty. Not just beautiful son, you get beauty. There are karmas, there are rituals which give a luster. Honestly, I'm telling you. That gives a luster of on your face. People need not have to go to then beauty salons and all that. Really? I'm not joking. We may not be interested or we may not have still that much Shraddha, but they are there. Lots of karmas are there. So means and end. The connection between means and ends. Somewhere means are known, end is not known. Somewhere end is known, means are not known. Somewhere means and ends, both are unknown. You know rain. Rain you know. But there is no rain somehow. It's all ecological imbalance and all. But so all the scientists, they want to, they sprinkle, silver nitrate on the clouds. And that's how the water particles, it's a very heavy molecule. And so the water vapor surrounds it and becomes a water drop and it falls. So they sprinkle in that clouds which really do not have much, not rain-bearing clouds. In that also, they sprinkle that. But you exhaust, you employ all these means, scientific means, but you did not get rain. You want rain. That's the end. That's a goal you want to achieve. Okay, go to Shastra. And there are yagas. There is a Kariri yaga, there is a Varuna yaga, etc. We did in our Coimbatore ashram. We did once because Coimbatore is a rain shadow region. On the other side of this Nilgiris, other side is a Kerala. Oh, there it rains a lot. And on the other side of the Nilgiri range of mountains is this is Coimbatore and all, where there were ashrams. Sometimes you don't get rain. So Pujya Swami said, let's perform. We performed and that evening it rained. Yeah, from somewhere it rained. We did even in Ahmedabad also. If I keep talking like this, you will become, but what I'm saying is all things are there. All things are there. So means was not known. End was not known to you. Rain is known to you. You want rain also as an end, a goal, you know. But you don't know the means. Veda says, may I help you? Okay? Yeah. Ready to help. Somewhere means are known, end is not known. Yeah. If I teach this class, if I teach this Vedanta to you, Swamiji, what will you get? It's a good question. It's a karma, right? Teaching is karma. It should produce some karma phala. Karma has to produce karma phala. That's a law. What karma phala it produces? Well, I have to go to Shastra. Could you follow? Yeah. It definitely produces punyam. But how can you say Swamiji produce punyam? Through Shastra. How can you say where is in the Shastra? In Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, Bhagavan himself said. Yeah. One who studies Bhagavad Gita, even if he doesn't understand, that's how there is so much value for even chanting of Bhagavad Gita. You imagine. Then you really understand and all, of course, it's a punyam. Listening and teaching everything. But anyway, what I'm saying is, so the means is known, teaching, etc. Karma. What is the end? I don't know. Shastra, you go to Shastra. Sometimes means and ends, both are not known. There also Shastra helps. So this is how the first part of the Karma Kanda, Veda, that's Karma Kanda, definitely he has been useful. But here, Nasti akritaha krutena. What you really want in your life, anything which you want is you want permanent. I talked only in the morning as a joy or happiness. Security you want permanent. Peace you want permanent. Your heart is constantly seeking, constantly. Behind any activity, what you are really seeking is something which is permanent, which is infallible. Which you are seeking something infallible. That's a human search. Yeah. It has begun as a child. Child, child also has a total trust in parents, looking upon them as a god and all. Trust was violated. Now this child has grown up and still that search is on. Something he wants which is really trustworthy, which is infallible, which is order. Yeah. Anyway, so here that whole karma kanda has been put aside. Through the karmas, whatever you gain, you will not get akritaha, you will not get moksha. If karma is not a means, then something else becomes means. And that's where knowledge enters, etc. So anyway, person is not going to search anymore in the form of pursuing any karma phala, including heaven, etc. So result of this pariksha, result of this examination, is that one ascertains moksha as not the result of any action. That's for sure. Results of action are of 4 types. First, by action, by your activity, you can produce something, like agriculture, like even a pot or anything, right? Even making table. It's called utpadyam. Utpadyam means something which is produced by karma. That is one, first. The second is apyam. Apyam means, through the activity, through the action, a result in the form of reaching, like going abroad, going somewhere, through action. Going itself is an action. Or even going to heaven, karma, ritual, etc. So another type of a result of an action is apyam. Somewhere you can reach by your action. First is utpadyam. You can produce something by your action. You can reach somewhere by action. Third is samskaryam, a result in the form of removal of impurities and imparting a good quality. We call refinement. And so, like cleansing or polishing a vessel, brass vessel you clean. That's basically a worldly action. But even in the Veda, the religious action also there, by which you refine. And that's how we call as a samskara. We have 16 samskaras. Yeah. And actually 41. But now we have reduced to 16. So those 16 also have gone. And it is meant for making the jiva samskritam, refined. Because jiva he's born in a place, a womb. Naturally, that's not a good place. And even after birth, he's totally ignorant. He's as good as an animal. As good as animal. So, Veda has thought over all this, and Veda wants to sanctify this jiva. So, Veda wants to make this unrefined individual to a refined individual through various stages of rituals, which are called purifying rituals. In Sanskritam, we call samskara. And it begins, in fact, when the child is in womb. Right? It begins there itself. Garbhadhana samskara. Simanto nayana samskara. And then once it is born, jata karma samskara. Then namakarana samskara. Annaprashana samskara. All samskara means a certain small ritual where you use the Vedic mantras and do that ritual by which we feel the jiva is further purified. Is on the stages of purification. Ultimately, the human being, when he becomes adult, he will be a refined individual, cultured individual. So Prakruta to Samskruta through samskaras. His person is called now Samskrutaha. Samskrutaha means which is refined. Please understand there are two things. Hygiene is one thing and sanctification is an entirely different thing. Yeah. So I'll talk to you. So this is Annaprashana, etc. And then Aksharabhyasa, Samskaraha. Upanayana, Samskaraha. Vivaha, Samskaraha. See, all. And lastly, Agni Samskaraha. Where the body, once there is no consciousness in the body, then the body is considered impure, naturally. That's how we touch the dead body, we take bath. So now this body which is impure, who will purify it? There is only one thing, one element which is considered as the most purifying, and that is Agni. That's how we do. All purification processes, physical purification processes also involve Agni. Even in terms of, even in microbiology and all, they use autoclaves to clean, all their, everything they clean it in autoclaves or like that, make it free from germs. Physical processes, metal purification, all, etc., all. And that's how one of the name of Agni is Pavakaha. Punati iti Pavakaha, which purifies. So anyway, so this jiva becomes a refined individual. And as I told you, hygiene is one thing and sanctification is another thing. That's how when I say, let's perform a ritual, yajna, in operation theatre where it is totally hygiene. You say, you can't even imagine. Person's bathroom may be very, germ-free, hygienic. Let us do some puja there. Let's establish a idol. What are you talking, Swami? You are a mad guy. Hygiene is one thing, and sanctity is another thing. In fact, you make a yajna-shala, and you make even that vedi with the bricks, etc., and then you do plaster with the cow dung, and you make even the walls with the cow dung, and that you said it is a sanctified thing. That's why you perform. So there are two types of purification. One is this, a religious purification. Second is a physical purification. There are two types. What we are talking here, samskara, is a religious purification. When person takes bath, etc., it's a hygienic, etc., cleaning teeth, etc., all this is hygienic. But religious purification, by which we think, we wish, Veda wishes that the person is become from unrefined stage when he is born or she is born. Well, through the various processes of the religious purification, it becomes Samskruta, refined. Anyway, so this is also karma, right? So Vedic karma. So the third is a samskaryam. By the various rituals or by general actions, you purify something, make refined. Fourth is a vikaryam. Vikaryam means by your action you modify a thing. You make an yogurt from milk, right? You do some action, make it warm and you add something and all that, add little yogurt or so the result is called vikaryam, modification, modified thing. Yogurt is called modification, modified milk, modified milk. So only these four types of results are there: making, reaching, purifying, and modifying. Karma can give these four. Your moksha should not be one of them. Then we can say karma cannot give moksha, right? Yeah. Well, first thing is moksha cannot be produced. Moksha means what? Well, oneself. I am of the nature of freedom. It is coming now, don't worry. From tomorrow, I am going to, bang on this. How you are Brahman. much awaited thing. That's we are finishing today. So I will explain you all the aspects of the Atma, don't worry about it. Whatever I have said in these 3-4 days, I will make clear from tomorrow. But let me finish this mantra, and that's how I wanted to go later. And what are the processes by which one can assimilate this knowledge also. That also I will tell you, all the things. So we have few more classes, I'm sure, and so time is enough time is we have. But anyway, so first thing is moksha cannot be produced because moksha is in the form of oneself. It is nitya vastu. It's in the form of Atma, and Atma is nitya. And therefore, definitely, moksha cannot be a first karma phala, cannot be produced. Karma cannot produce moksha. Second thing, moksha cannot be reached naturally because it is you. You cannot reach to you. You can reach to something which is other than you. And as such also the Atma, well, apnoti iti Atma, this is what the definition. Apnoti vyapnoti iti Atma, which pervades everything. If it pervades everything, which is all pervading, then where is the question of reaching? And therefore moksha cannot be reached also. That's second karma phala, right? That also. Moksha cannot be purified also. Moksha means Atma. Atma cannot be purified also because it is already free from impurities. Name raga dvesho, name lobha moho, what is that? Mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhava chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So there are all those impurities, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, etc. Jealousy, all this. Atma is ever free. Even when you say, Swamiji, I am very jealous, you are not. That's an error. That's an error. That's how I said. One has regarding self, one has several notions. Several notions. Yeah. You are free. When you say I am angry, you are free from anger. Anger is not free from you, you are free from anger. We'll see. Anyway, so third also is not. You cannot refine Atma. Atma is already refined. Okay? That's how one of the name of Atma is Pavitraha, so which is ever pure, etc. Then moksha cannot be modified. What is whole cannot be available for modification. That you can understand very well. What modifies definitely should have a parts. Yeah. You definitely, when you modify given thing, you are modifying the parts of it. Yeah. So basically, you modify a table, then definitely either a top or the legs, etc. So some parts you modify. A thing which is whole is really partless. It's a partless whole. There are no parts here. Anything which has a parts will fall apart. Anything which has a parts will fall apart one other day. It falls apart. Geological objects. My God, I was stunned when I saw that the black holes consumes this planetary systems. Whole planetary system, it gulps. Man, what a phenomena. Anything which has parts will fall apart. Few years. Janma is called constituting, assembly of parts. Parts are put together. It's called birth. Parts will go away. Parts, they fall apart. Will be called death. Yeah. So what is whole? Definitely you not available for modification. And therefore, if by karma it is not going to be accomplished ultimately, and one still wants moksha, then moksha must be already existing, and it is in the form of oneself. There is nothing left. Karma can give you a karma phala, which is a object of the world, some object, right? Subtle or gross or whatever. But here, which cannot be produced, etc., means which is already there, then it must be on the nature of self, etc. And therefore the bondage is centered on I, and moksha also is going to be centered on I. So if I can't accomplish through action, then I have to accomplish it without exercising my free will. Because if it cannot be accomplished through action, means then definitely will is of no use. And when will is of no use, you are exposed to the teaching. I told you in the morning, when you are exposed to the teaching and you don't use your will, the individual, Shastra tells you, you are not an individual, you are not an ego, you are not a knower. You are the very essence of the knower. Shastra says, I don't say the knower is not there, but the reality of you is not just knower. Reality of you is knowledge, consciousness. The knower is just a status when knower wants to know. If there is an object of knowledge, same consciousness assume a role of a knower. That's it. Therefore, Shastra does not say there is no knower, but you are not knower means you are not the reality as such as a knower. Your reality is consciousness. And knower definitely does not interfere by his will. Then the knowledge takes place. And therefore this knowledge is not a karma phala. This knowledge or moksha is not a karma phala. It's a pramana phala. Pramana phala, I told you in morning, pramana means of knowledge. The result of the operating of means of knowledge will be knowledge alone, and that is what you are. So, knowledge alone is a moksha, knowledge is given by the Shastra. And a commitment to knowing basically is called nirvedaha. So, nirvedam ayat basically it's said, is actually nirvedam ayat means may one gain dispassion. So, we feel that it has been said here that there is no command here. Dispassion is not even a discovery. Dispassion is not a will-based. Let me have a dispassion. You won't get dispassion that way. Dispassion means ultimately you are free from, you don't have a passion. That's called dispassion. Passion towards now, artha, kama and dharma. You become free from the passion. Passion means a strong urge for those things. You have become free. You still pursue that, but you know what it can give. That's our sutra. What it can give, what it cannot give. Yeah. Okay, and so dispassion is basically just natural, as I told you, outcome of a pariksha. An emphasis here is on the pariksha, analysis of nature of results. So may one do this pariksha about the nature of karma phala, etc. And this is done either independently or with the help of teacher, etc. Fine. So nasti akrita krutena is also over. Now the last part, tad vijnanartham sadgurum eva abhigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtham samitpani. One goes in for the knowledge to get moksha, and the connection between knowledge and moksha must be very clear. Knowledge of Brahman is the subject matter of the Shastra and which confers upon you the moksha. Knowledge is a means of moksha. So what is the connection between knowledge and moksha? Well, it is sadhana sadhya. Knowledge is a sadhana, means moksha is a sadhya. And well, knowledge becomes sadhanam and moksha becomes sadhyam. And when the knowledge is there, definitely the later happens automatically. Now, if here this connection is not clear, then a much asked question in satsanga always there. Swamiji's knowledge is there, but it's a theory. What is a practice of gaining moksha? Always this question. Because people think that knowledge does not give moksha. Knowledge, one should gain it and then one should do something. One should do something in order to gain moksha. Means still person feels that moksha is a karma phala. Knowledge is moksha is understood by only people who have appeared in the exam. Pariksha lokan karmachitan. Moksha cannot be the product of a karma. In that case, knowledge is gained, that is theory, and I have to do something to create moksha. That's a issue. Person who doesn't have a viveka and vairagya will never understand this relationship. For them, this thing will always remain. Knowledge is to be gained in classes, that is theory, and then something is to be done, either to go to samadhi, etc., or either you do something by which that moksha will be produced. That's how we discussed so long. Nasti akritaha krutena. So clear. Knowledge alone is moksha. How can knowledge give freedom? Because you are free. If you are free and if you take yourself by mistake as a bound person, due to the ignorance of the self, then when the knowledge arrives, self-ignorance also goes away, and the error born of that ignorance, that I am bound, etc., that notion also goes away. That's it. Therefore, knowledge alone is a moksha. Shastra does not give moksha. Shastra gives you knowledge, but knowledge alone is moksha ultimately. Right? This is what we have to understand. So to gain this knowledge, one has to study the Shastra, and there is no other way to gain the knowledge, in fact. Because between Shastra and knowledge, there is a revealer-revealed connection. So, book reveals the subject matter, and moksha is connected to knowledge. Knowledge is connected to Shastra. Now, Swamiji, but I feel that you said that Shastra is a means of knowledge. I really want to know whether should we call that Shastra as a means of knowledge or not. That's the last question now. You say Shastra gives you knowledge, but I am asking you a very basic question, whether Shastra is considered as a means of knowledge or not. Then the question arises, then the other thing arises that it will give knowledge, remove self-ignorance, and then error born of self-ignorance, that I am limited, bound, this, that, right? So prove it that Shastra is a means of knowledge. So that question we have to just solve it. And the definition of a means of knowledge is anadigatam, abaditam, arthavat bodhakam, phalavat bodhakam, pramanam. Pramanam, a means of knowledge, is defined like this. So it is defined with a phalavat arthabodhakam means a means of knowledge is defined as which produces the fruitful knowledge. Phalavat arthabodhakam. A means of knowledge, which produces a fruitful knowledge. Knowledge is always fruitful. Through our means of knowledge called eyes. Eyes give you knowledge of colors and forms. Very, very useful. Ears give you knowledge of sounds. Useful. So same way, this also, Shastra should give me the knowledge. First criteria. I am ready to give a designation to the Shastra as a means of knowledge. But it should fit into that definition. And it fits. That's how we are understanding. First is, it should give you fruitful knowledge. It gives me fruitful knowledge. In fact, what I am searching since many years and and from many births, the freedom I am searching, that freedom I gain it through knowledge from the Shastra, self-knowledge. Therefore, phalavat arthabodhakam, first part. Then, second thing is, which is not gained. That knowledge is not gained by other means of knowledge. That's also true. You call your eyes as a means of knowledge because what eyes can give the knowledge, no other means of knowledge can give. Ears cannot give the knowledge of colors and forms. Eyes cannot give the knowledge of sound. That only ears can give. So every sense organ definitely is a means of knowledge, because that it cannot, the knowledge which a particular faculty gives is not given by any other means of knowledge. And it also gives a knowledge which is fruitful, both. Then third one, which is really a corollary. If any other, what is the knowledge which is produced by a given means of knowledge, it cannot be produced by other means of knowledge, then it cannot negate also. Other means of knowledge cannot negate it also. If eyes give you knowledge of colors and forms, then ears challenge it. Cannot challenge. Cannot challenge. This is, if I see this as a red, suppose, then ears challenge. It is not red, it is blue. It cannot be, right? Because it doesn't have a scope. Ears don't have a scope at all. Anadigatam. The knowledge given by one faculty cannot be produced by another faculty anyway. And therefore, definitely, so this criteria, this particular definition fits very well for the Shastra. We are talking about the means of knowledge here, which should produce a knowledge which is not gained by perception, inference, etc. Knowledge of self cannot be given by your eyes. Eyes do not see eye. Ears do not hear eye. Right? If I see eye, then I should have a form. If I has a form, is it object or a subject? Object. Over. Ears cannot hear eye. Eye. You can understand that. Big eye. Ears cannot hear eye. No, ears. Eye has a sound, Swamiji. I hear a sound of Om. And that's, I think, the sound of a Atma. And therefore, Nada Brahma, etc. Nada Brahma. So I hear a sound of Atma. That's a better check with some psychiatrist. Eye is of the nature of silence, by the way. Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vigneya. Muṇḍaka Upaniṣad said Atma is of the nature of silence. The silence or peace which you are seeking, it's exactly you. No sound. So basically, what obtains in silence is self. We'll see. So definitely, Atma is of the nature of silence. So definitely, ears cannot hear it because there is no sound. So ears cannot objectify. Therefore, basically, the self is not available for perception. Self is not available for inference. And perception for main, if it is not available for perception, there is no question of availability for the inference. Inference is always based on perception. I don't want to go because it's a big subject. So, whatever the means of knowledge you have, you cannot gain the knowledge of self. Therefore, if Shastra is giving you the knowledge of the self, then Shastra enjoys the status called anadigatam. The knowledge given by Shastra should not be available for other means of knowledge. Correct. It is not available. In fact, the entire Veda, the subject matter of the Veda entire is something which you cannot gain, knowledge of which you cannot gain through perception. Punyam. Suppose this is an action which produces punyam, Shastra says. Anybody can see here punyam is produced and going away, and to my account, to your account. That's how it's called adrishtam. Na drishtam iti adrishtam. Which will be never experienced. You have Shraddha, you believe, or you say, I don't care for it. That's a different thing. But, so Veda's subject matter, even lokas, devatas, this Atma, not available for any other means of knowledge. Well, not available. And therefore they cannot negate it also. They cannot negate it also. So ears cannot negate the color of my shirt because there is no scope for the ears. If anything is within the scope, then you can negate. That's how Veda is not even scientific. Yeah. What is not available? What is the subject matter which is not the subject matter of the science will be the subject matter of the Veda. People try to always prove Veda is a scientific. It is not scientific. Scientific means definitely science has a basis in perception, observations and all. Means Atma should be available for perception, then you conclude something. Right? It's not. So therefore Veda, the subject matter of the Veda is not disproven also. And it cannot be proven. You should have a Shraddha till you recognize this self as Brahman. Then even Shraddha also is not required. So we should know this anyway. So non-scientific, of course, does not mean illogical, but if it is illogical, we will not accept it also. But if it says something which is above logic, definitely, but are not illogical, then we accept that. So if Veda makes some statements which my perception, etc., an inference can verify, then these statements we call it as a anuvada. The subject matter of the Veda is basically apaurushaya. Apaurushaya means not available for knowing through the means of knowledge available to the human being. But definitely, and there are certain statements in the Veda which definitely available for perception, etc. Those statements we call it as a anuvada. They are not revealing statements, but this anuvada restatement is from the Rishi's own mind, where his observation at particular time. And it's a personal concept of the Rishi, basically, that come along with the original matter of the Veda, which is revealed by the Veda as a anadigatam. So anyway, so one can never say Veda is wrong, because it's not available to prove. If somebody says, well, there is no God, we ask where you have gone to say that there is no God. If God is in the nature of oneself, and you cannot negate oneself, that is how even Taittiriya Upanishad said. Asadva idamagra asit, etc., etc. Tato vai sad. No, I'm sorry. What is that? That's a different statement. And yeah. But anyway, one who says that there is no God, he is negating himself, something like that. One cannot negate oneself. Try to negate yourself. You cannot. It's in the form of self. Anyway, so point is the subject matter of the Veda basically is wrong. You cannot prove. The subject matter should be within the scope of your means of knowledge. Then you can say a given thing is not there or it's wrong, etc. Anyway, so with respect to all rituals, etc., the subject matter of the Veda is anadigatam. Any ritual is producing punya and connecting to the karma phala, etc. We cannot prove it, right? It's anadigatam, basically. Whatever the instruments you keep, but you cannot prove it. Yeah. Okay, that's true. But what about Atma? Atma, do you think it is not known? You said the subject matter of the Veda is anadigatam, not known to you. Then an Atma is one of the subject matter of the Veda. Then Atma should not be known to you. But Atma is I. And means Veda tells you you are, or you know that you are. Even before you open the book, you know you are. Therefore, Atma is basically not a subject matter of the Veda. Atma is already known to you. You say, I know I am, right? Veda does not prove your existence. You know you are. Even if person doesn't know Veda at all, doesn't come to this, or all this atheist all, they know they are. They say this much, I know I am conscious being. I am individual conscious being. Everyone knows I. Therefore, Atma is not a subject matter of. Regarding Atma, Veda is not a pramana. That's it. What to do? We have to postpone now this camp. We all are gathered here to know Atma through Vedanta or Veda, that is. So anyway, to reveal the existence of the Atma, Veda is not pramana. Correct. Very true. Neither perception or inference also is a pramana. You know you exist without using sense organs. You know you exist even before a thought arises. That's how people say sometimes, Swamiji, my mind has become as though, like a stone. For a moment I could not think anything. There was no thought. But you were there to experience that there was no thought. So basically, even when the thoughts are not there, you are there. That is so simple. In deep sleep state, there are no thoughts. You are not there. There. Therefore, thought has not to prove your existence. Perception has not to prove your existence. You don't infer yourself. I infer, Swamiji, I am. No. Nobody infers oneself. And therefore, basically, perception inference also does not prove the existence of Atma. And Veda also does not prove the existence of Atma. In fact, because of whose existence, perception and inference are possible. Well, that's how eyes are able to see, because eyes are conscious, because the consciousness is present. That is how Kenopanishad beautifully described Chakshushas Chakshuhu, Shrutrasya Shrotram, Chakshushas Chakshuhu, etc., etc. Atma is the ear of the ear, eye of the eye. Yeah. Atma is something in whose presence eyes function. Eyes are able to see. Therefore, because of whose presence even the perception and inference are possible, those perception and inference cannot objectify the Atma. And therefore, to prove your existence, no means of knowledge is required. That's how Atma is called self-revealing. Well, then in that case, we don't need Vedanta also. Everyone is gathered here to know Atma. No means of knowledge is required, means then, well, definitely we should close all this. Please understand this. Regarding your punya papa, karmas, karma phalas, so and so yaga gives so and so phalam, everything Veda is a pramana. But this Upanishad pages we have to turn off from the Vedas and should be thrown out. Yeah. Yes, to prove your existence, well, to prove the existence of self, Veda is not pramana. But you are the cause of the entire world. That's what Veda says. Can you prove it without going through the Shastra? No. That's the thing. So you are Jagat Karanam Brahma, you are limitless consciousness. You, the self, which is self-revealing, is limitless consciousness, which is the cause of the entire world, which is the essence of the entire world. Do you know that? No. That is where Veda enters. Veda does not prove your existence. Veda proves that you are a self-revealing consciousness, which is limitless, which is the cause of the entire universe, which is not available for any other means of knowledge. Any other means of knowledge. Perception definitely reveals the objects. Inference also can help you in that, giving an indirect knowledge of the world. Presumption can help. Everything can help. But basically, you are the cause or essence of the entire Jagat. Well, that is told only by the Veda. That's where Veda's entry is. Anadigatam, abhaditam, etc. And therefore, well, so with, you are that Jagat Karan Brahma, etc. For this, you have no other means of knowledge. That's where it works. Anyway. So, otherwise, with what means, will I look at myself? Otherwise, how will I look at myself? Well, one says diving deep within. Diving deep within, well, definitely one can know oneself. Diving deep within also does not help, because we are interested in that diver. We are not interested in something, the object. Basically, we are not interested in what the diver finds. We are interested in the diver. Diving deep within, you will find Atma. No, we are interested in that diver who dives. Okay, that diver is Brahman. That is not told by any means of knowledge. Anyway, so Vedanta is a means of knowledge for Atma, and already accomplished thing, already existing thing, self-existent thing, but that self-existent consciousness is so limitless, Brahman, etc., is not known. That is where the entry of the Shastra is. And therefore in Vedanta, Shraddha is maintained only till the knowledge takes place. Then result is verifiable right now. In fact, after 2 days you will say, yeah, Swamiji, I am Brahman. You may forget, that's one thing. That's another thing. You may forget, that's fine. But the way we proceed, you will see that. You will say, yeah, I am Brahman. So this, till you assimilate this knowledge, your Shraddha in the means of knowledge is required. Once that is done, now there is no question of keeping a Shraddha or something. Matlab, there is no need. There is no need. It has served the purpose. That's it. That's how we always use the word pending discovery. Till you discover, you have that faith in that. That's it. Anyway, that's enough. What should one do to gain the knowledge? Saha guru meva abhigachet. Saha means may this person. Who is that person? Who is that person who has appeared in the exam and he is through. He has passed the exam. He has analyzed everything. He has a viveka and vairagya, and now he knows what I want. For that, the means is only self-knowledge. So he wants a moksha, but he knows the means also as a self-knowledge, and therefore he is not just a mumukshu now. He is a jignasu. That is referred by the word saha, that person. So, guru meva abhigachet. Well, he should go to the teacher. He must go. Actually, eva means a emphasis. He must go to the teacher. In order to fulfill this desire for knowledge, he goes for the knowledge, and definitely the knowledge is gained through the teacher. And Acharya says very, very, very strong statement. Shankaracharya ji, in this section, in that Muṇḍaka Upaniṣad, Shastrajñah api swatantrena brahma anveshanam na kuryat iti gurumeva abhigachet. Shastrajñah api means, one may have all the disciplines of knowledge necessary for studying the Veda. One may be knowing the language, Sanskritam, etc. And one may be aware of the methodology of looking at the words of the Shruti also. And such a person may think that, well, I would like to study myself. I don't want a teacher, but it doesn't work, basically. So, because Vedanta Vakyas are many, doubts are many, so many doubts are there. Certain Vedanta Vakyas have paradoxes also. All this thing has to be resolved with the help of a teacher. And therefore, there are two types of doubts, basically. One is a doubt regarding Shastra. What's the purport of the Shastra? Does the Shastra says Jiva is different from Brahman? The individual is different from Parameshvara, or Jiva is a part of Brahman, or Jiva and Brahman are identical? What is truth? Because all kinds of statements are there. And therefore, definitely this is called a doubts pertaining to the means of knowledge. What is the purport of the means of knowledge? What is purport of the Shastra? The other types of doubt is regarding Brahman. Yeah. Swami, is such a Brahman is possible, and that too I am Brahman? What are you saying? Yeah. So Shastra says you are Brahman, that's fine. Shastra may say that's true. But I don't think I am Brahman. I don't think. That's called Pramegata Samshaya. So Prameya is Brahman, Pramana is Shastra. So there are doubts pertaining to Shastra. There are doubts pertaining to the Vishaya, subject matter of the Shastra also. Anyway, so one should approach the teacher. And what type of teacher? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. So a teacher should be a Shrotriya. And Shrotriya means who has studied Vedanta and who knows this Sampradaya. He is skilled in imparting the knowledge. He knows the methodology by which he transfers the data from here to the other head, to the student's head, in a manner by which even the student will tell, yes, I am Brahman. Teacher definitely knows I am Brahman. And the student also will tell. So he knows those skills. He knows the methodology of teaching by which he can impart the knowledge of Brahman as the very self to the student. That person is called Shrotriya. Right? So this is the thing. And teacher should be Brahmanishta also, means one who understands Brahman as non-separate from oneself, and one who has a commitment to know Brahman. He may be in a process of assimilation also. He knows he's Brahman, but certain, I will talk to you when that occasion arises. Where some mistakes occur, etc., I will talk to you. But anyway, so he has a commitment to know Brahman also. But Swamiji, how would I know that because I want to take an interview of the Guru, because I want to select him. So how would I ever know that the person is a Shrotriya, etc.? Well, and if a person is a gullible, etc., ignorant, well, definitely he can swallow anything. And in such a society, well, there will be a people who venture to teach self-knowledge without being Shrotriya also. So, because teaching is not an ordinary thing, naturally, and so unless one undergoes a certain training, etc., one cannot teach. There is a method of unfolding everything, and therefore the method comes down through the sampradaya, which this person, tradition, which this person has. That's how we call Shrotriya. If gullibility is not there in the society, if there are people who know Vedanta well, and there such teacher is talking in such a society, then definitely one who really doesn't know the subject matter will stand out. Yeah. In that case, you will save yourself. Yeah. And then there are always, in a society where some traditional teachers are there, definitely they can tell you also that you go to such and such teacher also. So anyway, so by the word Shrotriya, well, we definitely, what we are going to study also, that is also made clear here, that is a traditional teacher, etc. And we should know he has nothing new to say. A teacher who is in tradition has nothing new to say. Yeah. He has to talk about self-ignorance. He has to talk about methods. Avasthata prakriya, panchakosha viveka prakriya, karanakarya prakriya, drugdrishya viveka. So those things only. He may take some examples here and there, or he may present the subject matter differently, little. But he has to talk ultimately the same thing. That is the lakshana of a Shrotriya. Yeah. If we talk something entirely new, then we have to be very careful. Yeah. So this is how one may select a teacher and definitely ask him to teach. Best thing is, well, thing is, and the second thing, of course, okay, that is Shrotriya. Because I am in a hurry to finish this portion. So anyway, so other thing is, Swamiji, how do we know that the person has a Brahmanishta? That's another thing. Unless you know Brahman, you do not talk about others. You know, you cannot talk about others. If you know, if I know Sanskrit well, suppose, then I can say so and so is a Sanskrit scholar. If I don't know even alphabet of Sanskrit, and I cannot give a certificate, and even if you give certificate, he will not accept your certificate. The real scholar will not accept. The person like me, suppose if he doesn't know Sanskrit and says, Swami, you introduce this person. And then he said, oh, he's a great scholar of Sanskrit. That person laughs actually, because he knows that you don't know even Sanskrit. A Sanskrit scholar can say other person is a scholar or not. So unless you have a Brahmanishta, you cannot say other is a Brahmanishta, right? Whether he really has a clarity about this or not, you cannot say. Then in that case, what should I do? You have to see his commitment to this knowledge. That you can see. Whether he is committed to this, person may be Shrotriya, person may have studied in a tradition, Vedanta, but he may have another agenda. Rather than giving knowledge, etc., commitment to knowledge, he may have other agenda. I don't want to criticize anybody, etc., and it is not fair also. But person studies and he has capacity to teach, but he has different agendas. Then in that case, you should keep away yourself. Anyway, so well, he has nothing to say. He is going to say what the Shruti says. So one may select a teacher and ask him, please teach. And definitely, well, the only way to recognize him is to request him to teach. and let him reveal himself to you. Let him reveal himself to you. Himself means Brahman. And so if he understands what he teaches, he can make himself known to you. That's a test. That's only test. Could you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. And therefore, so there is, sometimes the teacher, the person studies a very thing in the tradition and he doesn't want to teach. And then he's not obliged to teach. But Pujya Swami used to say like that, there is no reason why he should not teach. Right? There is no reason why he should not teach. There is no reason why he should teach also, but then there is no reason why he should not teach also. So definitely, we should go to a teacher who is willing to teach. If a person is definitely who doesn't teach, but he has studied, etc., you can do salutations and get his blessings, etc. That's true. But you should go to a teacher who is willing to teach. And so far as Brahmanishta is concerned, how to find a Brahmanishta person? Well, you should see what is his daily activity. Does he is interested to establish certain pharmaceutical companies, this, that, etc., or is he interested in this imparting knowledge, etc. His commitment is around this only, around Shastra. Then definitely it's called Brahmanishta. Definitely Brahmanishta. So anyway, and definitely how to approach such a teacher is said. Samit Pani, his son. That's the last part I will finish. By being one, you should approach this Shrotriya and Brahmanishta with the teacher with a samit in his hand. Samit means the twigs of a peepal tree. So one picks up some dry sticks, etc., make a bundle of them and takes it in hand and goes to the teacher. So Samit Pani means that is a upahara, that is a gift he gives. Because the teacher is running a Gurukulam in those days. It was running a Gurukulam. And in Gurukulam, the biggest thing which requires is a fuel, wood, for both the purposes, for kitchen as well as for yajna, etc. And therefore, in those days, the seva of the students was to go out of the Gurukulam in the woods and gather the dry wood and bring it. So he is going for the first time, he takes in hand a bundle of dry these sticks, wood, twigs, etc. So word Samit Pani indicates that student is one who has willingness to serve the teacher. So he is ready to do shushrusha to the teacher. Actually, shushrusha means a desire to listen. That's a derivative meaning. Shrotum ichha, shushrusha. But the popular meaning of shushrusha is a service to the teacher. So any service is called shushrusha. And service of the teacher to the teacher is a part of this entire gaining knowledge also. So shushrusha, desire to listen, basically is real intention on the part of the student in order to gain knowledge. And at the same time, shushrusha means a service to the teacher. That is indicated by word Samit Pani. Pani means a hand. Samit means in whose hand there is this twigs. And such a student who is desirous of gaining knowledge is ready and to do anything for that purpose, and he should approach such a teacher with the desire to know and gain moksha. Now, how this Atma is Brahman, and what are the steps by which one can ultimately assimilate this knowledge, that is the rest of the talks we will have now from tomorrow. As such, we have finished mantra, but still a lot of things have to be fulfilled, have to be filled rather in this, which we'll do from tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.